Welcome to Track 848. If it's time to change the oil in your front forks, stick around. I'm going to show you how I do it. Start this project by recording the current fork position. You can measure with a ruler if your forks do not have rings like mine. You'll need standard tools. I'm going to use a screwdriver handle and rubber mallet to tap the front axle out. Eventually, the bike has to be raised, and I'm going to use my pit bull stands to do this. I use Öhling's 23 CST fork fluid, which is a little higher viscosity than the stock recommended fluid for my bike. Check your user's manual for the recommended fluid for your bike. Remove the front fender, and I have a new air filter to install, so these air ducts need to come off. If you're not renewing your air filter, check to see if you can access the lower triple bolts, and if you can, skip this step. I like to loosen up the clutch and brake reservoirs to provide better access to the triple clamp and clip-on bolts. My fork cap is 32 millimeters. Loosen the cap 1.5 to 2 turns. By doing this now, you'll be able to get it off by hand once it's off the bike. Remove the brake calipers, and you can use bungee cords like I am here to support these during the project. Take the axle nut off and then loosen the pinch bolts. You can see where mine are here. Your bike might be different. The front axle should tap right out. Keep track of any spacers. My bike has one on each side of the wheel, and they're different sizes, so take note of yours. Reassemble all of the wheel components the way they came off and then set it off to the side. Now go ahead and loosen up these last 2 bolts that are holding the fork in place, and once you get them loose, go ahead and remove the fork. Loosen the fork cap by hand and pull it out 2 to 3 inches away from the tube, and now you can start pouring out the old fluid. After the initial pour, turn the fork cap counterclockwise until it clicks. Then tighten it down in the opposite direction. Pump up the fork to work more fluid out of the inner assembly, and then do another pour. Retighten, pump the fork, and pour again. Do this 3 or 4 times. I stop once the fluid starts to drip like this, and this comes out to be about 405 cc's, or about 92% of the total fluid amount recommended in my user's manual. Measure out the same exact amount that you took out and start pouring it into the fork. Pour it in slowly to minimize air intake. Pump up the fork several times and then set it off to the side to rest and to let the air percolate out. After the resting period, the fork should go all the way down without smacking up against the bottom. The fork travel on these forks is 127 millimeters or 5 inches. Make sure all cables are routed properly and reinstall the fork to its original position. Make sure the clip-on pin is located properly and snug these bolts. We're going to properly torque them in a minute, but first go to the lower clamp and torque these 2 bolts using a 1-2-1 pattern. Now back up top, loosen these bolts again and snug down the fork cap. Just a slight snug, that's all that's needed here. Torque the remaining bolts and do the other fork. Now that the other fork is completed, we can reinstall the front wheel. Make sure the 2 spacers are in place and that you apply a good coat of grease on the axle and the nut. Hand tighten the axle nut and lower the front end. Using a screwdriver, push the pistons back into the caliper and then very lightly spread the brake pads apart. This will allow the caliper to go straight on to the rotor with no interference. Torque the caliper bolts, then pump up the brakes, and while holding the brake lever in, rock the front end like this to center the calipers on the rotors. Tighten the axle nut and pinch bolts. That's it. Give yourself a pat on the back. You just renewed the fluid in your front forks. I have more videos over at my YouTube channel, Track 848, and if you'd like to receive a notification when I upload new videos, go ahead and click on the subscribe button at the top of this page. Leave your comments below, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks again. I'll see you the next time. Goodbye.